Welcome in. It's the Second Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and today we are mega preview potting everything that's going on in the world of golf, including the WWT Championship storylines, best bets, and everything else we can get our hands on. Joining me to break it all down, Greg DuCharme is here. Gregors, good to see you.
Gentlemen, good to see you too. Excited for another week of PGA Tour action. We got, 2 weeks remaining? 3 weeks remaining in the FedEx Cup Fall. That's it. So it's coming and going pretty quick, and I'm excited to watch some golf in Mexico this week.
This week, Bermuda and RSM Classic are the three tournaments that remain. Mark Immelman is here. Mr. Mark, good to see you.
How's it, boys? I've got some completely useless trivia for you. I just saw this, and it's blown my mind.
Okay.
Now, this is a golf podcast, but I'm talking tennis now.
Okay.
The world's number 1,000 is closer to number 3 in the world rankings than number 3 is to number 2. Get that? So you got Sinner and Alcaraz as 1 and 2, and then they're about 6 points ahead of Zverev. And the 1,000 is closer to Zverev than what Zverev is closer to number 2 in the world. How nuts is that?
So that those two have put that big of a gap between themselves and everybody else.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Kind of like the Second Cut and all the other podcasts that follow us.
That's right. That's exactly right. It's kind of like the official World Golf Rankings, because as of right now, Scotty Scheffler is 8 points ahead of Rory McIlroy. And that would go, another 8 points would go from number 2, Rory McIlroy. It's not that far. It's like 100.
Yeah, but that's still pretty big.
Oh, it's massive, but it's not the tennis. It's
not 1,000.
8 points ahead is like Tiger-esque. I mean, that's crazy stuff, that.
Yeah, he's 12.
How many people have 8 points?
Okay, so
very few.
Two.
Rory and Scotty. Yeah,
That's
so Scotty's at 18.8, Rory's at 10.2, Xander's at 6. So the gap between Scotty and Xander is the same gap as Xander to everybody else in the world, and then you go into negatives.
And Xander just got there.
That's crazy.
And Xander just won in Japan, so he just got back there, because when I last checked, I think Russell Henley had moved up to 3 for a few weeks, didn't he?
Yeah, just dropped down to 4.
So the difference between world number 1 and world number 3 is bigger than the difference between world number 3 and us.
Correct. We are closer to Xander than Xander is to Scotty.
That is pretty crazy.
So we got a Sinner Alcaraz thing happening on the PGA Tour as well.
Yes.
Well, perhaps even LIV Golf now, Rick, if you want to go there.
We will get to that in just 1 second. I will also tell you this before we jump into that breaking news. We are probably, I have it on good authority, a good source. The source is me, that our one and done for 2026 could be live as soon as the end of the week. And it is massive.
Huge,
so big.
If true. Huge, if true.
It is, dare I say, going to be the largest one and done on the internet.
Okay. Come on now. Let's go.
Massive guarantee. There will be some fun incentives. There will be segments. There will be lots of interesting things. But I'm hoping by next week we are getting people in on that.
I'm hoping too.
Mark, first place is probably going to be like $100,000.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Hey, let's do it.
We're going to be rich.
We're going to be rich.
Yeah. We're probably going to finish like 700th behind. And the first place guy was some guy called Bogies a lot on the internet or something random like that. You know,
probably
is that first place prize the only payment?
Oh, no.
Because I know that this is like a big thing in the Survivor.
Yeah, I hate that. But no, it's going to pay like 10%. It's the purse is going to be over $1 million. So yeah, it's massive. I'm telling you, it's massive.
This is going to be massive.
Rick, you and Armina have been working behind the scenes now. Wow, look at you lot. I'm trying to find my golf swing, and you guys are make moguls in Las Vegas.
We've got the phones. The lines are hot. And we've been making calls, and yet no, it's going to be massive. So it'll probably pay out 10%. First will be like 100 grand. There'll be segment payouts. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be
Big.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get into it. I'm way too stressed about Survivor.
Yeah.
I want to do one and done, so I don't feel like it could all be over at the wrong click of a button.
Hey, Greg, speaking on behalf of Rick and me, we'd rather be stressed in the NFL Survivor than not be at all. So,
yeah,
just saying.
Do you have the recap, Mina? You guys survived. Both of you did. You avoided Green Bay, which was the one that knocked out, I think, 15% in our NFL Survivor. There's only 63 left, I believe. There she is. Mina went with the Chargers. Greg went with the Rams. Am I right? Yeah. LA. You both survived. Well done.
Big red.
Now, Mina, if you remember, Mina picked the Packers.
Yes.
Before realizing she used them already.
Yeah.
That I was thinking about that watching that game. Like, Mina is so strategically wise that she picked the Packers before this week.
Mm-hmm.
These are the kind of things that take you all the way.
That's why for my pick this week I just copied her, even though my pick doesn't mean anything.
We did. Mina did have the realization, didn't you, where she said, "Okay, wow, we're so deep into this thing. Oh wait, I have to pick as many correct as I have already picked correct, and I'm running out of teams." And I was like, "That's right." She was like, "Oh my god."
That's all right, Mina. Any given Sunday, it's the NFL. Anything can happen.
And hats off to Greg for telling me to pick the Chargers. I'm glad I listened to you because they won.
That was getting a little dicey for a while. I'm not going to lie. I was very nervous for the first half.
63 remain. 65 remain. Someone will take home $26,280.
That is awesome, man. I'm so jacked. That is cool.
Yeah.
One person.
Well, I guess if it would, the only way it would be split is if multiple people had a perfect year and got to the end.
Would it continue into the playoffs? It can't, right?
It would just split. It would, if three people are perfect through 18 weeks, it splits 3 ways.
Yeah.
And if people get knocked out before then, Mina could win on the 16th week or something, right?
Oh, she could win next week. Yeah. Like if she, and if she's the only, it could end much earlier than that.
Sorry, Greg, I'm pulling for her because she said she was going to share the cash.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
All right. Let's get into this. We have got a little bit of breaking news today. LIV Golf has announced that they are moving to 72 holes, 4 rounds of golf. So for the first 4 years of existence, LIV Golf, which is the Roman numeral for 54, has played 54 holes. They will move to 72, and they are doing this for a variety of reasons. There's a lot of great quotes in here, Greg, but what is your initial reaction to LIV Golf pulling the trigger and moving to a 72-hole competition?
Well, it's very clear to me that they want to get official World Golf Ranking points. They have not been able to do that. It seems to me like they feel this is the pathway or part of the pathway to official World Golf Ranking points. I don't know why it took this long. They've kind of known that this was a factor all along. But that's here nor there. The other thing that just struck me, which is not a knock on LIV Golf, but it's something that comes up often in the world of professional golf, where we want to do something different. We want to mix it up. We want to try something original. But all roads lead to 72-hole stroke play because it is the best format. It is proven time and time again. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the Ryder Cup switched to 72-hole stroke play at some point. I'm only teasing. But 72-hole stroke play works. It's the best format. And I think that's it's not surprising that LIV has ended up here.
Greg, you know what's not surprising to me, or what what was kind of a logical progression from all of this. If after how many years has LIV been around now? What are we going into? How many?
Year 5.
That they couldn't get this done, and it was a non-starter for the first 4.5 years until Greg Norman's let go. Right? Because remember, he was like resolute. This is my idea. 54 holes is the greatest. You can figure out the tournament, and then eventually he moves along with a handsome buyout or whatever it was, and the new boss comes in and said, "Well, if we want to get world ranking points, those guys are only going to smile upon our application if we become like legitimized with 72 holes." And I'm building on your observation. So yeah, to me, it's like some new leadership, and the new broom sweeps clean and makes the first necessary adjustment to make them eligible, or at least get them eligible for consideration for ranking points.
Lots of quotes coming from some of the top players on LIV Golf. John Rahm said, "This is a win for the league and the players. Moving to 72 holes is the logical next step that strengthens the competition, tests us more fully, and if the growing galleries from last season are any indication, delivers more of what the fans want." Bryson DeChambeau's quotes were a little bit more in line with that OWGR perspective here, Greg, because Bryson said this: "Everyone wants to see the best players in the world competing against each other, especially in the majors. And for the good of the game, we need a path forward." That kind of implies that they don't have a path forward at the moment. He says, "By moving to 72 holes, LIV Golf is taking a proactive step to align with the historic format recognized globally, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." So moving to 72 holes and trying to adjust their qualification system, which we'll get to in a second, Greg, it is definitely on the forefront of Bryson's mind, because he wants to make sure he's getting into all these major championships even after his U.S. Open victory exemptions run out.
Right. For the good of the game. The mess that I made needs to get cleaned up. And I mean, people just want to watch me, and they can't because I went to LIV. And we're not getting official world golf ranking points. So what if I'm not in majors? What are the people going to do? Oh my goodness. There's this language that is used in the LIV Golf League that bothers me like nails on a chalkboard. You just said it from Bryson. Oh, I heard this news, and my initial thought was, oh yeah, like I saw this post that you have right here. Oh, 72, they're expanding to 72 holes. I said, wow, that's a big change. Then I go to the article on their website, and it's move to 4 days of competition reflects LIV Golf's global momentum and evolution to deliver more action and entertainment for fans. What does this have to do with momentum? You just flipped a switch and said, yeah, we'll make it 4 days now. What, did your earnings go up so you could afford to have the event catered for an extra day? Did you get enough extra revenue so that you could, buy another block of tee times for Monday instead of starting on Tuesday? It right away, as soon as I start reading, it's like this is just phony. I can't believe anything that I read for the rest of the article.
May I add something to this? Now, this is pure conjecture. I don't know anything. I don't really speak to any of the LIV golfers unless they're playing in events on the PGA Tour, which are majors. But isn't this curious how it just happened when it was renegotiation time for a few of the stars that they paid this big money to just a few years ago? And next thing we see Dustin Johnson posing in a cowboy outfit, just having his deal redone. Because DJ doesn't need to play golf anymore. I don't even think he wants to play golf anymore. And they can't offer him more money. So now they can just go, yeah, bro, we're going to make it 72 holes. And very soon, likely, watch this, they're not going to be playing in a shotgun. Now, that's me opining. That's not me knowing. Just to say, yeah, the thing's being legitimized a little bit more to up your ante and up your chances to get into the bigger events that really are the only ones that you're caring about right now.
Well, imagine the negotiations that are happening with Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, who are saying, how do you expect me to sign on for another 3 or 4 years when there's a really good chance I don't play a major championship unless something changes, right? And my exemptions run out. And they say, okay, well, I'll tell you what, sign back on. We'll make this switch to 72 holes. They've got some qualification things going on, Mark. It's absolutely in line with the negotiations.
And there's only one guy that's not tiring of traveling to Asia to go and play in the Hong Kong Invitational, and that's Patrick Reed, because he does that anywhere. The rest of them are like, no, I've had enough of the global travel right now. This stuff is taxing. And I know we only play, 16 events a year or something like that. But, an event going to play now for 4 rounds, that takes you, it's like 7-8 days worth of commitment, that stuff, with time changing and your body's whacked out when you get back to where you're living. So, yeah, I have no doubt that this is very much a ploy at keeping this few stars that they have. And maybe
they also have to play now don't they have to play an international series event as well, or is it 2?
I don't know, but quickly, and maybe just maybe this is a push at some young stars that are coming out, because there's all these youngsters on the tour right now that are showing up and hitting at 400 and blowing the fans' hair back and stuff like that. Maybe this is to go to those young boys and say, yo, we're going to give you money, and we're making a play at World Golf Ranking points, so that you can play against nothing fields, earn some points, and get in the major championships. Watch, it's coming.
I agree with you. I don't know if it's a requirement, Greg, but the little tweak they made a couple of days ago is trying to also address the qualification process. Being a closed circuit is not great for OWGR points. We've talked about that ad nauseum over the years. So in addition to the 2 spots that they will give out during LIV Golf Promotions, that's an event they hold or have held at the end of the year, in the beginning of the year. It's going to happen in January to get 2 spots into LIV Golf. They're also going to give 2 spots to the top 2 finishers in the international series. That's the Asian Tours Rolex series, FedEx Cup points, whatever you want to call it. That's their version of it.
Well, remember, that is a parameter to qualify for world ranking points. And there has to be a way that you can play your way into the league, not just sign a big deal that you get a bunch of money and you're going to tee it up. So that's also a play at going, hey, we are doing everything we can. Pathways was the word that you and Bryson used there. We are creating the pathways required so we can check the boxes on the World Golf Ranking points application.
So the current players, the 2 current players who would earn LIV Golf spots who are not currently LIV golfers are Tomoyo Ikamura, who is from Japan, and no. Do not quote me on that. That is wrong. I back out.
Where are you finding this? I know you found the end of the internet, but gosh, that's some research by you.
Here it actually is. I was looking at the wrong leaderboard. Scott Vincent would get his spot back on LIV, and Miguel Tabuena would get a spot on LIV. Those are the current rankings. They've got, I think, a couple more events to go. There's an internationalseries.com, Mark. It's there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A real website.
Oh, really?
Look,
I go to PGAtour.com and RickRungood.com. That's
the only 2 websites you need.
That's it. I will say this. It's good that they're actually doing something to try to get world ranking points instead of whining that they don't have them. So I do appreciate the alteration and the change. I just wish they would stop lying to me in their written word. It's a total lie to me. The first paragraph, and it just bothers me. I just feel like the rest of it I can't read. And I'm not even angry about the topic. I'm not upset that they moved to 72 holes. I'm not. I think that they actually have done something. That's good.
Hey,
I can't get over what they wrote.
It was Feisty Mark the last time we got together. It was Feisty Greg, and I like it, boy. I'm here for Feisty Greg.
Yeah, he is feeling it. Jets have traded everybody away. He is just all fired up at the moment.
I do want to say this, Greg, though, because if you listen to stuff that isn't the written word and you listen to the LIV stars that show up at the major championships, and I'm talking about Rahm, Neiman's their best player, or second best, however you want to argue it. But if you listen to Rahm and Bryson and Koepka, the most well-known, when they're in the press room, you'll hear them saying, it's competitive out there, but the bigger competition is here on the PGA Tour. And they say all these little underhanded remarks where they're like, we're a great league and it's competitive, but they're almost endorsing the PGA Tour and the strength of the fields. And they've dropped the whole thing that was, remember, a few seasons ago, like you say, it's like, we deserve world ranking points, blah, blah, because they were promised it by Greg Norman. And then that didn't come through. Then all of a sudden, the major bullets in the LIV holster have started speaking otherwise. So I feel like the organizers and the bosses over there were like, well, we better start playing ball.
They were sold a bill of goods that did not come through. I mean, we saw during that lawsuit, remember the lawsuit era, and they did discovery, and we got the Greg Norman text messages, and he is assuring these players there is no way they can keep us out of this OWGR system. Well, 4.5 years later, 5 years later, no points are to be found. So they were definitely sold a bill of goods that has not come to fruition. So it's, time for a little bit of change over there. The event the course that used to host the event on the PGA Tour is now a LIV Golf event. That's El Chameleon. We're going to the WWT Championship. This is now the third year, Gregors, where they ditched the Greg Norman course and are now playing at a Tiger Woods course. El Cardonal. It is in Cabo. The boys will be back to compete on, what would you describe it as, a resort course? It's got to be.
Yes, 100% a resort course. We don't have shot length data on this venue, which gets me fired up as well. I think if I had to guess, we will have strokes gain data this week.
You think?
We did in Japan.
It was horrible. It was wrong.
Yeah, you're right. There were some bad instances.
But they did, but to your point, they had the infrastructure in place.
Right. And that's overseas. Normally that's the line, like, well, we're out of the country, we don't do it. But they did in Japan. That's why I'm guessing we're going to have it here. As you can see in this picture, so long as you're watching on YouTube, there's a lot of width on this golf course. There is not a lot of penalty for missing. One thing Tiger Woods does with his architecture, he wants everybody to be able to play it. So there's no forced carry. Literally, the fairway goes right up to the tee boxes, which is pretty cool. And it's a cool look. But there's a lot of room for these guys to hit it out there, and they take advantage. You'll see scoring in the mid-20s under par, even though it's a 74, approaching 7,500-yard golf course as a par 72. They will go low this week.
24 under par last year was the winning score, 27 under par the year prior to that. The only two instances we have played here at El Cardonal. So, Mark, I would expect much more of the same. Golf course looks like it's pure. They're big greens. You can make a lot of putts around here. Yeah,
this is one of those stat padding weeks, where there's wide fairways. So your driving accuracy number is going to go up. I mean, I looked at some pre-tournament data, and Austin Eckroat last year, I think his driving accuracy number for the week was 91%. so there, to Greg's point, there's some wide fairways and some big greens too. But you're always going to get some wins down there. But with a golf course like this, with nothing really penal, slowish greens because of the wind, it's defenseless essentially, and you're going to have to get busy and make a bunch of birdies.
Mark, it was 91%.
Yeah.
Do you know what place that was in fairways hit?
That surprised me.
Tied 29th.
Oh no!
So they're going to pound fairways this week.
How many guys hit them all then?
Well, no one. Tied first was 54 of 56, 96%.
Well,
I only see two players. I only have the top 10 finishers in front of me.
Okay, so when we have the second cut golf trip, we're going to this place because of my crooked driver. All right, so I can play.
Now we're cooking with gas. Yeah, definitely a stay and play package, if you will. Field's kind of interesting here, gents. We've got a couple of Ryder Cuppers. We've got Ben Griffin in the field. We've got JJ Spaun in the field. We have seen Ben Griffin play since the Ryder Cup. He played at the India Championship. That's the event that Rory went over and played on the DP World Tour. Tommy Fleetwood won it. But JJ Spaun, Mark, we have not seen since the Ryder Cup. Obviously a great 2025, even finished it on a strong note, played well at Bethpage. Now kind of going to get out there and mix it up this week.
Interested why he's playing. Maybe he just wants to sort of get a bead on where some off-season work is. I mean, I talked with a few coaches and stuff, and a lot of them have been like, well, I haven't heard from my guy because he's basically switched off the telephone and hung up the golf clubs for the last few weeks. I know that Xander is on it's on dad duty for the last little bit. So JJ, I think they've probably, maybe he and his coach Adam have done maybe a little work, and they just want to see where it is under pressure. Maybe it's one of those things where it's out of the country, so there's a little incentive for him to go and play there. And so you take the wife along and the family, and you have a good time, and you play a little golf. So yeah, it's cool. The weather's always going to be good down there, so it's just a nice sort of playing vacation, working vacation for JJ. And the way he was swinging this last year, for me, it's basically turnkey. I mean, it becomes so consistent, and the mindset was so clear that I don't feel like there's much time needed to play into form. He sort of proved that at the Ryder Cup too. We just showed up and was great. So I'm still expecting him to play pretty solidly this week, despite the off time.
Ben Griffin and JJ Spaun are your favorites. There is a little bit of a gap. They're 10-1 and 12-1. And then you get to the guys that have been putting together really good results, Greg, here in the fall. I'm talking specifically about Rico Hoey, Garrick Higgo, Thorbjorn Olesen, the Kevin Hughes of the world, these guys that have played a lot of fall events, who played, not necessarily out of necessity, but because the game is sharp, they're going to be back and competing again this week.
Yeah, this is the thing that we always talk about when it comes to the fall. This is where we get this little group of guys that just plays seemingly every week in the fall. We get familiar with their games. We get to know what they're up to, what they're working on, what their strengths and weaknesses are. And it's a really cool thing to watch. I know Rico Hoey specifically has been the guy I've had my eye on all fall long, largely because he made a big switch in the style of putter that he's using. And for one of the best ball strikers on the PGA Tour, I mean, literally, and the worst putter on the PGA Tour, to make this switch and see 3 top 10s at his last 4 starts, that's a big deal to me. And that's the kind of thing that could springboard you into the regular season next year, or more importantly, a win in a week like this.
The final story that I'm very interested in before we get to the grid here is Michael Brennan, the man who out of nowhere goes out and barnstorms the Black Desert Championship and wins there. And Mark, I'm so interested to see what happens next, right? Does he continue to roll this through? Do you get that sigh of relief? And, that often happens for a young guy getting the biggest win of their career, and maybe kind of takes him a few weeks to get back into shape. I'm very excited to see what happens with Michael Brennan this week and over the course of his next handful of starts.
Yeah, me too. And to be very honest with you, I'm kind of expecting more of the same, because the golf course certainly fits his skill set. I mean, he can just get up there and swing for the fences with a driver, because it's not that punitive and it's hard to miss. So you got that going for you, which is really nice. But the way I see it is, golf is one of those games where you ebb and you flow, and they have highs and lows, and they're big, movements in form and confidence. And when the confidence is high, it goes for a little while. And then when you have a career-defining win like he did, he's probably feeling on top of the world. And the one thing I know for certain about working on the PGA Tour is it's a momentum place. And someone who's playing well, they're going to play well for a little while. It's kind of like surfing in a way, where you paddle out, you're working hard, then you finally catch that wave and you ride it in there, and it's exhilarating. Then you get knocked off, and then you have to paddle back out. That's what golf and the PGA Tour is like for most of the PGA Tour golfers, save Rory and Scotty and company. So as it pertains to Brennan, I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps going, because he's found that wave right now and playing with a lot of confidence on a golf course that certainly will suit his skill set.
Las Vegas not going to get burned on Michael Brennan this time around. Much shorter, as you can imagine, than 2 weeks ago. He's 30-1. He's one of the top 10 players on the betting board for this week. Speaking of boards, speaking of grids, we put together our grid every week. We come up with a matchup, a finishing position, and 2 separate outrights. It allows us to continue the conversation, and Mina has loaded it in, and she has released it to the public right now. Yes, very well done there. Greg and Mark have found the same matchup. And because Mark is mid-sip, I'm going to give this one to Greg first to tell us about the matchup that they have both found.
Well, we were just talking a little bit about Rico Hoey. And I'm so optimistic on him. Like I said, I've been watching him all fall long, and he continues to deliver. And so I'm not going away from him now. I'm taking Rico Hoey over Max Grazerman, who played well in Japan, played well here last year, is extremely talented. But I'm a little less sure of where he is with his game compared to Rico Hoey. So I'm very high on Rico, and I'm a little more unsure of Max. So I'm going Rico minus 110.
In the 4 starts, Mark, for Rico Hoey this fall, he has 3 top 9 finishes. His last 2 are that runner-up finish in Southern Utah and the 4th place finish in Japan. Rico Hoey is playing the best golf of his life right now.
No doubt. What Greg said, basically, I just add to that. I'd say, and I made this observation when we had the recap show after the final round of Utah, when he's in the final group and on 14T or whatever it was, he's busy cracking jokes and looking like it's just a Sunday afternoon round. And for someone who's somewhat new on the tour, still looking to make their mark and set themselves up as a career guy on the tour, he looked like it was just another Sunday. And that was so impressive to me. And then he got up there and hit some beautiful shots coming in and kept the pressure on Brennan in the end. So, yeah, I'm all over Rico. I still believe Grazerman's going to play well this week. I just feel like Rico's going to play better.
Rico Hoey over Max Grazerman for both Greg and Mark. I'm going with another young gun in Johnny Kiefer over Jacob Bridgman. I got plus money on this. Johnny Kiefer just 5 days ago was crowned the Korn Ferry Tour Rookie of the Year. He was also crowned, gentlemen, the Korn Ferry Tour Player of the Year. He won both of those awards on that circuit. He's only the 3rd player to ever do that. Would you like to take a crack at the other 2 that have pulled off that feat on the Korn Ferry?
Was it Sung Jae Im?
Sung Jae Im did it in 2018. That is correct.
And
Wesley Bryan?
Not Wesley Bryan. That's a good guess, though. He had the 3-win Battlefield promotion, but he did not win them both in the same year.
Was it? Well, that makes me think it's Matt McCarty.
Not Matt McCarty.
But it's is
Jimmy
it
Walker.
Scotty Scheffler?
It's Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
Yes, back-to-back years. The other 2 guys that did this were back-to-back years. 2018 for Sung Jae Im, 2019 for Scotty Scheffler. Johnny Kiefer did it this past season. I have him over Jacob Bridgman.
Hey, Rick, I was going with the old timers there in Walker Company and West.
Seriously.
He won't like me saying that he's an old timer, but I look at Johnny Kiefer's name, and I kind of imagine you'd see this on a 1950s PGA Tour leaderboard with the name Johnny Kiefer, going out against Long John Barnes and like that.
I could see that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The old Wikipedia page. The last guy to win the Open Championship before 1900.
Johnny Kiefer.
Johnny Kiefer.
Remember Johnny Kiefer? He was great. All right, finishing positions. Anyone that we want. And Mark, you and I have the same player, but we have different expectations for him. So why don't you start with your finishing position and I'll follow it up with mine.
Well, I think yours is a really good bet. I'm just kind of going for what I feel like is a guarantee because I bust on this thing the last time I tried. So I'm going with David Ford to get a top 40, and the number is plus 130, which I think is that's daylight robbery, really, if you want to bet, because he played really well when he was last out. Missed the first few cuts, on the PGA Tour, but that's to be that's to be expected. But he's powerful, hits the ball a long way, is just a really sound player throughout the bag. And I feel like he's found his groove on the tour, and it's going to kick this forward this week.
Number 1 in the PGA Tour U rankings out of the University of North Carolina, David Ford, top 40 for market plus 130. I said, do me a little bit better. I've got a top 20 on David Ford at plus 360. Mark mentioned it. I love the talent here. He's rounding into form. We saw him in Southern Utah, put together his best finish on the PGA Tour. He finished 3rd there at the Black Desert Resort. So it's David Ford all the way for me. And Greg, you're going with a name that we probably haven't spent much time talking about in the course of the past couple of months, but he's on your grid.
Yeah, we haven't lately. It's Matty Schmid. I like Matty Schmid for a top 20 at plus 200. He finished tied 46th in Japan, tied 14th in Jackson, and he played a couple of European Tour events before that where he missed the cut in both. But I'll tell you what I like about him. He comes up in some of the, longer iron models. 175 to 200, his name pops up. Most importantly, he's 6th in this field in birdie average. And that's really what I'm paying attention to this week. And then you look at what he's done on the greens. And we saw the overhead, right? It's wide open. This kind of place turns into a putting contest real quick. And his putting since the Travelers has been just fantastic. Week in and week out. So I think Matty Schmid has a really good chance of cracking the top 20.
If he does, Mark, it'll pay 2 to 1. Go ahead. Sorry.
Member of the winning International Palmer Cup team in 2019. Just
no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal at all.
No big deal at all, Captain. All right. Matty Schmid, top 20 at plus 200. Winners now. We each get to choose one winner. 2 winners. Greg, why don't you take the lead here and give us your winners, please?
Okay. First and foremost, I'm going with Rico Hoey as a outright. So I got him in a matchup and an outright. I think the time is near. My only hope is that, he didn't crack the peak wasn't last week when he finished runner-up. So hoping that there's still room for him to improve. I believe there is. Next, I'm going with Wyndham Clark at 30 to 1. And this is simply a wide golf course. One of the most talented players in the field, if not the most talented player in the field, has not been playing well, but he should be able to completely freewheel out here. Rip the driver, give himself a ton of birdie putts, and that gives him a great chance of getting hot.
Wyndham Clark at 30 to 1 in a field like this.
I know.
It definitely made me stop and think about it. I didn't get there. Mark, you didn't get there either. Your 2 outrights, please.
Yeah, to Wyndham. I've gotten wind that he's been seeing a new golf instructor, so I'm keen to see how that transpires. But don't quote me. I promise you, looking at the grid now, I have not been lazy and looked at your guys' picks before I made these. But I do feel like Rico Hoey is very, very due. And I mentioned earlier how, when a player is on some good form, they're going to milk that for as long as they can. And it seems like he's in a good headspace to do so. And he didn't look like he was phased at all by being in contention last time he played. So he's comfortable around the lead. And then Thorbjorn Olesen, it's like he's been playing it's looked so much better than what he scored to me. Now, I don't know what the numbers bear out, but the scores just haven't been commensurate of what he's been doing on the golf course. So I feel like he's pretty much due, and he's a proven winner out there in Europe. And it's time now for him to make a bit of a mark on the PGA Tour.
Well, the results are pretty good themselves. 14th, 9th, and 3rd in his last 3, and that's at 3 very different venues: Jackson, Mississippi, Madrid, and of course the Black Desert Resort. So I have already looked into that because Thorbjorn Olesen is on my grid as well. And then I followed it up with JJ Spaun, 12 to 1, probably one of the shorter numbers you're ever going to get on JJ. I just think this is a place for him to come out and show off the talent and be the guy that we saw in 2025. There's not a lot of reason to think that's going to be changing anytime soon. And I'm a believer in JJ moving forward. So it's 1 for JJ, 2 for Thorbjorn, 2 for Rico Hoey, and 1 for Wyndham Clark. I will remind you that if you're only watching on X/Twitter, not every episode is on X/Twitter. So make sure you are subscribed on YouTube so you get everything live, get the notifications, get all that fun stuff to make sure you don't miss a single beat. WWT Championship, peeps. Any final thoughts? What are we missing here?
Roll on into the season. Hey, and next week, Rick, dinner, Vegas. Let's do it.
Dinner, Vegas. Do you have it? I'll text you about it a night.
Come on now. Yep. Yeah. I'm there.
Who's Mina picking in Survivor?
Oh, yeah. We've got to do Survivor and we've got to do the fantasy section as well. So hold on. Mina and Greg need to reveal their Survivor selections. Do we have that for this week, Mina? I bet it's coming.
Yeah.
There it is. Wow. Okay. First off, Greg.
Why have I still got a cross next to my name? I made a pick. It was Buffalo.
I made a pick too. Mine was Detroit, but I guess we don't count anymore.
Yeah.
Greg, you're going with the Panthers. Don't they stink?
No.
Oh.
No, they don't. The Saints stink, who they're playing against. The Panthers, I think, have a little momentum going on. And this is one of those weeks where I just have this feeling. I get through this one. I got a couple of heavy hitters left, like the Bills, like the Chiefs, like the, a couple other good teams. I forget who. But, I got to get, this is a big one. And I don't think there will ever be another chance to play the Panthers. I'm looking at my slate. I'm like, I am running out of teams, and we're only halfway there. It's a week to take a chance.
I can't believe I have this so handy. This is what you have in the holster. Okay. If you can survive this week, which is what, week 9, week 10?
10. That's 10.
Week 10.
Week 10. So if you can get through week 10, you have this in the holster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6-win teams: Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and those Los Angeles Chargers. Okay. After that, you've still got a handful of 5-win teams: Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Carolina, who you're going to use this week, and the Chiefs. Okay.
Yep.
You've got.
I can't believe the Chiefs and Carolina both have 5 wins.
Both have the same record. Yeah. So you do have some big boppers available to you.
Yeah. But it's strange, except for the Bills, which I think is a great, very straightforward choice from Mina. Except for the Bills, those teams they're either not playing or they have a really tight matchup. So eventually it's going to come down to a tight matchup. But hey, go Panthers. I don't think I've ever said that before.
As Wyndham Clark's mom used to say to him, play big, Greg. Just don't play big.
Yes. I need Rico Dowdle to go off this week.
Both Ricos. Rico Hoey, Rico Dowdle.
Yes.
As long as Bama win on Saturday night, then the weekend's good for me. That's all.
Mina, would you like to come on and give your pick, or do you want me to give it? I think she's coming.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. And the reasoning is because Pool Genius told me to.
She uses the Pool Genius tools. So Mina has the Patriots remaining. She will use Buffalo.
Atlanta should have won that game last Sunday. Just saying.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. They didn't.
I'm a Falcons fan. We do that.
She has Tampa Bay. She has Philadelphia. She has Seattle. She has San Francisco. Okay, so as much as I have poked fun at her for already using the teams that she has used, she's got some pretty decent options left.
She used, if I remember correctly, Baltimore week 1.
I think it was week 2.
And that turns out to be a good move, huh?
Yes, it was like their only win in the first 7 weeks or something. She went
right.
She went Philadelphia, Baltimore, Kansas City out of the gate,
and they're like pretty average,
exactly.
Except for Philadelphia,
she turned out very clear.
Yeah, so it's not like she burned all the good teams.
Yeah.
Great work.
It ended up going well. Greg and I are going to continue to do a little quick fantasy breakdown. So, Mark, we can let you go here, and we can say thanks for popping on. Go Bama, and we'll see you later this week.
All right, boys. Take care.
All right. See
you, Mark.
Okay, Mr. Greg, a little bit more work to do here for us. I have asked you in the past, just as I've asked you again today, to give me your golfer of the week, all things considered. And I think if people have been paying attention, they could probably figure out who this is for you, but let's just go ahead and make it official.
Yeah, Rico Hoey. It's Rico Hoey. Now, from a fantasy perspective, I'm very curious to get your thoughts on this. I would think with his record in the fall that his ownership would be very high. I wonder if that goes down being in the $10,000 range with Ben Griffin and JJ Spaun.
It's weird because he's clearly the third best player in the $10,000 range, right?
Yeah.
Those other two guys were Ryder Cuppers. Okay. So that's not a knock on Rico Hoey. And then you go down to the 9K range, and like Michael Thorbjornsen has been very popular this year. Who knows? Maybe you'll see a little bit of Michael Brennan clicks at the bottom of that range. So it's kind of an awkward spot for Rico. I'm interested to see what the industry does with him.
Yes. And it's something I think Rico's worth playing either way. I think he's playing that well. If this was a fantasy football show, we might say he's matchup proof right now.
Oh,
like you're just playing him. But you might get a real added benefit of no one else playing him, or very few other people playing him for a $10,000 guy. So I love Rico Hoey this week.
Now, there are other golfers in that 9K and up range on DraftKings that tickle both my fancy and your fancy. Let's go with Michael Thorbjornsen here. What do you see from this kid that has you excited?
Yeah, well, we've known about the talent of his, right? He won PGA Tour U and came out and things were okay. But you look lately at what he's done and you're seeing driving prowess that is, it's been just awesome to watch. I don't think that's a huge deal here, but you're also seeing it in his ball striking with his irons. That iron play has seemed to really improve, which I think goes a long way. Love seeing a third place finish already this fall, tied 13th at Silverado as well. Seems like every week he's putting up a top 15. So really like what we're seeing out of Michael Thorbjornsen. And I think there's untapped upside that we haven't seen yet.
Now, the guy that you also have in the outline, I find really interesting. It's Kevin Yu. I'll spoil it because I just feel like everybody has moved on to Michael Thorbjornsen. Everybody's kind of moved on to Garrick Higgo. Rico Hoey is now like Kevin Yu, the guy that Kevin Yu used to be in fantasy. And Kevin Yu is still playing some phenomenal golf right now, and he's $9,100.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any dip in ownership on him, it's fantastic. You look at what he's done off the tee, he's still the same guy that he's always been. His ball striking is just phenomenal. The knock on him has always been the putter, similar to Rico Hoey, right? We've been waiting for this to click, and he's gained 6 and nearly 3 strokes putting in his last 2 starts that were measured. And his last 3 starts, measured or not, are a tied 15th, a tied 20th, and a tied 11th. So I think there's a really high level of performance. I think you can take advantage of a lot of drivers that'll hit this week. And it's looking like the putter has kind of turned around for Kevin Yu, which is a dangerous combo.
Yeah, it is a dangerous combo. And at $9,100, again, there's kind of some awkward pricing with like Michael Brennan there. It creates a situation where Kevin Yu might be overlooked. Wyndham Clark is your 8K golfer. His price exactly for this week is $900. This is just a talent and course fit thing, right? Like his biggest detriment is not going to be a problem here. And this guy's won a major championship, a signature event. Like that's what we're going off of here.
Completely. Interesting to hear what Mark said about possibly working with a new coach. What's really interesting about that is that he didn't have a coach when he won the U.S. Open. So he's getting some help, and that could potentially be an easy transition. It could just be a little guardrail. So it's not as concerning as sometimes it is when, like, Max Homa switches coach from or Colin Morikawa leaves his longtime coach. That's a little more concerning than this, in my opinion. So love that talent upside. The other guy in the 8K range that has my interest would be Jesper Svensson, who's at the other end of it.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about him. Similar driving prowess. Also popped up as he popped up in multiple categories I was looking at. Most importantly, third in this field in birdie average. So I think this could be the kind of field where Jesper Svensson pops up.
That starts to get us down into the value range, and especially in a field like this. So the 7K range, you've got a lot of names here. I don't know how much confidence you have in these names, Greg, but like, what's the play here in the 7K range for a little bit of value?
Load up. I mean, I'm going to read you the names that I wrote down.
Okay.
All right. I got Steven Jaeger, Austin Eckroat. They've both played well here in the past. Eckroat is the defending champion. Matty Schmid, Isaiah Salinda, Taylor Montgomery. I also have 2 question marks next to that. Yeah. Sammy Valimaki and Carson Young. Boy, I wish that was Cameron Young. But then he wouldn't be in this price range. So Steven Jaeger hits it a long way, has had success here before. Another very talented player who seems to be putting pretty well. So I'm interested in that. Like, last couple of weeks, his short game has been carrying him. Unlike Steven Jaeger, he seems to be lost with the driver. Is this the kind of place where that's okay? I don't know, but I'm interested in it. Austin, you know what I'm saying, Rick?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of misses are we talking about here?
Right. I think it's going to be okay.
So he's very talented, and if it is okay off the tee, then he's underpriced. Steven Jaeger, also pretty good bird. He's 10th in this field and a little outside of 10th. 13th in this field in birdie average. Now, Austin Eckroat, I feel much safer about. It's strange.
Champion.
What's that?
Past champion here.
Defending champion.
Defending champion.
Yes. I feel much safer about him, not because he won last year. His ball striking has just been very good. The putter's been spotty at times in 2025, but it seems like it's been pretty good. 3 out of the last 5 weeks been pretty good. We got a 11th at the Pro Tour. I think the game's there. Maybe we get back to a course with some good memories and things click. So I like the Eckroat play. But the one I'm really excited about is Matty Schmid, who's really long, and a great putter and a great birdie maker. He's 6th in this field in birdie average. This feels like his name's going to be there on top of this board.
I kind of just trust him more than some of these other guys. I've been like, Montgomery is so interesting because of what he's capable of doing with the putter, but he's, I don't know if he's going to give me enough opportunities, but out of the rest of these names here, Salinda, Jaeger, Carson Young, it feels like Schmid is just better than those guys, which, at some point I've got to back a touch of pedigree as we get down into ranges that make me very uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable. The good thing with these guys is I feel like they're good players, and I feel like they're priced appropriately. That's probably why I have so many. Like, they're good enough to show up on some kind of model. They've played well before. They've finished in the top 3 in tournaments before. So they're not totally flyers. Like Sammy Valimaki, he could play well here easily. I'm not loading up on these guys, but I'm definitely like a Matty Schmid and a Sammy Valimaki, a Matty Schmid, Isaiah Salinda. Like I could have a combination like that in a healthy amount of lineups and feel all right.
If the 7K range made you feel uncomfortable, welcome to the 6K range. 2 names here. I've pulled up the profile of the first one, Greg, and I've already discovered why I think you found this name.
That would be Trey Mullinax.
Yes.
So out of curiosity, Rick, what did you find?
Well, I was assuming you saw the fact that he had gained basically 10 or 11 strokes on approach in his last 3 starts, plus 4.5 at the Pro Tour, plus 4.7 at the Sanderson, plus a stroke at the Black Desert, which is one of the better approach runs in recent months for him.
Yes, a very good run. And then you add to the fact that from like 150 to 175, he's one of the better players in this field, which I, for a player of his length, could be a really important number, really important bucket. And we may see, I'm thinking we might see an approach increase here this week. So he's in this field. Trey Mullinax is 6th from 150 to 175 of the players in this field. I think you could see an uptick. And I like when he has room to air it out off the tee. So seeing that in the 6K range, 6,700, sign me up.
Well, I started with the guy that I understood what you saw, but I am going to need some explanation on Henrik Norlander, Mr. DuCharme.
Is that because he missed his last 3 cuts?
Yeah, he's missed his last 3 cuts, and he hasn't cracked the top 50 since May.
Yep, May. That was TPC Louisiana, the Zurich. This is what I'm intrigued with. Corrales Punta Cana Championship tied 18th.
Yeah.
And Mexico Open tied 13th. These are similar style golf courses to this one, which intrigues me. He also pops up not only from 150 to 175, just a couple spots behind Mullinax. He also pops up in the 175 to 200 range as the 3rd best player in this field from that range. Now, he doesn't pop up on the birdie list, which is far more important, but we are talking about the $6,000 range. Yeah, it's not looking great. I understand it. But this is the kind of week where somebody's going to show up and you're going to say, how?
Yeah, because these guys can all make like 7 birdies around.
Yeah. Yeah, and they will. Someone's going to make 7 birdies in 1 round and miss the cut.
Right. Yes.
That's just what happens here.
Also, T30 for Henrik Norlander here last year, which is honestly one of the better finishes of anybody in the 6K range, especially with only 2 years worth of history at El Cardonal. I was spending a lot of time there, Greg, trying to find you a Rico parlay. So what I was looking for was a Rico Hoey to win, Rico Dowdle anytime touchdown parlay. Okay.
I like that.
So I could not find the places I was looking. There were only 3 games that had like touchdown props out so far. The Thursday night game, and then like I guess games that don't have injury consideration or something. So I could not find the Panthers lines, but I started looking at kind of recent week lines for Rico Dowdle. And I believe what I have for you is a Rico Hoey to win, Rico Dowdle anytime touchdown scorer, 68-1 is the odds you could get on that.
That's not bad. Rico Hoey is going off at 22.
Yeah. So
get up to 68.
Somewhere between 2-1 and like 2.5-1 for Rico to score a touchdown, it seems.
Yeah, I'd be very curious what his yardage props would be Rico Dowdles. But I like the anytime touchdown. I think he's going to score a touchdown this week. Again.
There is a surprising lack of prop. Maybe it's just too early in the week, I guess. I don't.
Yeah, it
I
could
don't
be.
always see when the NFL player props come out, but there is the only rushing props that are available for this game on DraftKings right now are first carry, Alvin Kamara over under 3.5 yards, Rico Dowdle over under 3.5 yards. That's it. First carry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I could never do that.
That's pretty sick to get just like right out of the gate. First run.
Win or loss.
Win or loss.
Yeah, I go with the under on both.
How would you even decide? Like, how would you even?
It's a total guess. They're going to get stuffed right away.
Right.
Who knows?
Maybe if I could see the formation first. The defense is, they're stacking the box.
Click under.
Yeah. All right, Gregors, anything else before we get out of here?
No, Rick, I think it's all good. I'll be watching the Rico Parlay very closely. Hopefully by the time we get to Sunday, we have Rico Hoey right there in the mix.
If I can remember,
so much fun.
Yes, if I can remember, I will bet it if I can remember that the line will come out later in the week. But I guess it has to be out by Thursday, though. Because I got to get the Hoey side in by Thursday.
Right. It's got to be out by Thursday. You got to check tomorrow night. I'll try to remind you.
Yeah, just text me, or maybe I'll put it on my schedule and just like remember myself.
Rico Parlay. Let's
That'd
go.
be so sick. It'd be so sick if it hit. All right.
I'd love that.
I'm going to give us all a round of applause. I think we've done an excellent job. Producer Mina, she does all the hard work behind the scenes. Greg DuCharme is available at The Real GFD. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The Second Cut. We'll see you Friday night.